All right, so rigging a bait for swordfish. Got several different baits you can use. Belly baits work real good. The good thing about those, they're real durable. I find I get bit more often on squids. They're a little more fragile, take a little more rigging, but this is how I like to rig my squid. Get a nice sectional leader, put it on your hook. I like to use one of these beads. This one is a glow bead, but I don't think that makes a difference. It's inside the squid, so I don't think the fish can see it. But I'll lay it out right there, and what I use that bead for is to stop the line from pulling through the tip of the mantle of the squid. So I'll lay it right like that and see how it's gonna lay out, and then I'll take a knife, I'll cut a slit where that hook needs to go in. And I take a little piece of tubing that you can buy just at any hardware store or anything, and I'll run it in there. It's hollow, so you can run your leader inside of it, and that just helps to push it through the tip of the mantle. You want to go through the very tip of the mantle. That keeps the line coming off the squid center so it doesn't spin on the way down. Go ahead and pull it all through. Tuck it in there and pull it to where it gets kind of snug, and that's why that bead, you can see that bead right in there, and that's what's helping the hook, keep the hook from pulling further forward. Next, you need to, I like to tie a couple loops around the front and the back of that bead to keep the bead from being able to slide forward and ripping through the tip of the mantle or backwards. I want to keep that hook and everything right in place. That right there is really pretty much all you need to keep the hook in place and everything. But the problem is, swordfish are sloppy eaters. Come in there swinging their bill, and they can take this and whack it right there in one whack, and your bait's cut in half, and unless they're really fired up, probably not going to come back and finish off the job. So what you need to do is lay a line of stitching from the front all the way down the body of the squid to kind of reinforce it so they can't just bust it in half and take your bait. What you want is to reinforce it with this thread, so if he whacks it, it holds it together and it won't just fall apart, and that way he'll come back and swallow the whole thing. So you just run a line of stitching I'm just cross stitching. There's really no, that's not what makes the difference. There's no rhyme or reason, just however you like to do it, really. When you get down here, it's always nice to kind of tuck the head of the squid into the mantle some. You want to tack it onto the mantle. So that's all I'm doing right there, is catching it, and I'm going to reinforce that in a minute. But it kind of, once again, just helps to keep everything together. And it doesn't have to be pretty. As always, you just finish that off with an overhand knot. Pull it tight, then you can just slide it right down. Trim it off. Now you got it reinforced with that stitching to where if he hits it right there, that stitching is going to help you keep it together. Now we got the head. You want to really make sure the head is stuck on there good too, because that's another part, that the head's very easily detached. One little swing and a miss and you're going to be missing your head. So I just like to, several ways you can do it, but you can just come inside right there like that, come out, a little overhand knot, pull it somewhat snug. I'm sure you probably don't need to do both sides, but making a drop is very time consuming. You can only make so many a day, and it's really a pain to reel it up to check your bait. The better you have this thing stitched together, the more confident you are that your bait's still good down there and you don't have to crank it up from the bottom in 1,400 feet of water. And there we go. There's your rig squid. You want that hook sitting straight out like that. Everything's all tucked in there and reinforced and ready to go fishing. Step one, you got to make the leader. Put that bead, that glow bead that I like to use. Step two, you cut the slit. You lay the leader alongside, you cut the slit where the hook's going to lay. Step three, you run it through the tip of the mantle and you pull the glow bead snug up the tip of the mantle. You tie a loop front and back of that bead, which keeps the hook from being able to slide either which direction. Then you reinforce everything with the stitching down the body, and then you attach the head to the body. And that helps hold it together and hopefully keeps that fish coming back after it whacks it once or twice. It won't fall apart.